Alright, man, if you read the title, you already know what's going on here. This video is about porn addiction. So, something I want to come off and say is that I'm not exactly Mr. NoFap. The longest streak I ever went on was like 8 months. I went on a big, long 8 month streak once. It was like a couple of years ago. And ever since, I've been kind of on and off. And even before that, I was on and off. Something I want to mention is that I don't take an approach to quitting the same as other people. Like, if you guys know, there's a community called the NoFap community, and it's like something I noticed that the NoFap community does is that they have a habit of shaming people for their addiction, and that's not really my approach. I view porn addiction on the same level as kind of like maybe like a little above cigarettes in terms of how serious it is, and a little below weed. But don't get me wrong, man, it's an addiction, and I might even say it's a gateway to other things, something that people don't talk about. I'm not really going, and last thing I want to mention is I'm not really going anywhere specific with this. It's literally like, let's just talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just come out and say some things about my history of it and things like that. So something I want to say is the reason I don't like people who shame the addiction is because most of us started when we were kids. Most of us started when we were kids, bro. I started when I was fucking 8. Okay, like how the fuck am I, like what, am I supposed to go back and build a time machine and tell 8-year-old me, hey, you need to build up the willpower to quit an addiction that you don't know about? Like you get what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, first of all, let's get something straight. The internet itself is a fucking addiction. We're all addicted to our phones. As soon as your ass has an awkward moment in life talking to somebody and you get a weird vibe, let me just pull up my phone, you know what I'm saying? Like, type shit. Like, that's what we be on, bro. Like, that's the type of stuff that we be on. And so if the internet is an addiction, and mind you, we as a species are new to the internet. We've only had the internet around at a high level for 15 years. You know, it's been around since like the 90s. But in terms of how the way it's developed, bro, and like, shit, man, like the access to porn that we have, I don't think that came out until like the early 2000s or something like that, or even the late 2000s. People, you couldn't look around and find a laptop everywhere until like 2008 or something. You get what I'm saying? That's when, you know, computers started really going everywhere. So, you know, we're new to the internet. We're still learning about the internet, and we're still learning about porn. And how can we be so hard on ourselves about porn when we're still learning about the addiction? It's not like meth, it's not like heroin, it's not like any drug. You know, people like to say weed isn't a drug because it's a plant, it comes from the ground. So does fucking cocaine, bro. Cocaine comes from fucking trees. Okay? Almost every almost every drug is natural. It's a substance, okay? So, you know, I guess, you know, I'll open up as an addict, you know, like, again, as you guys know, I started watching when I was 8. I think the reason I started is because, like, as an 8-year-old, you know, you hop online or you look outside and I just see all these bad bitches and shit. I'm like, man, when I'm older, I'll never pull any of those bitches. I'll never pull any of those fucking bad bitches, bro. So I'm like, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch this shit. You know what I'm saying? Type shit, you know what I'm saying? So, like, and then, you know, and then eventually, you know, by my freshman year, dude, like, I was on one my freshman year, dude. Like, I was beating my shit like 3-4 times a day sometimes. Like, I'd be so drained, I'd have to quit. I'm like, okay, bro, I'm taking a week off, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I never really looked at it as an addiction because no one, especially at the time, no one was like, oh, porn is bad for you. People will tell you porn is good for you, which we'll talk about later. You know, like, porn is good for you. It's healthy. You're releasing a nut. You're releasing hormones and things like that. And it's like, okay, there's one side of that, but every single thing in life has a good side and a bad side. You know, and they never tell you that. I never heard of that. I never even thought like porn could be remotely bad for you until I was like 20. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, fast forward, I was in bad my freshman year, but sophomore year I kind of slowed down, but I was still into it. Junior year, same thing. Junior year I actually started pulling women in real life. You know what I'm saying? And I actually got like a really good social life going in my junior year. So, and then my senior year, I had a really bad senior year. I had a really rough senior year. It was just bad. Like I had a bad girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? It was just a bad year for me in general. And I was an addict too. I was in deep in that porn addiction. And again, I never looked at my addiction and thought, man, maybe this could be holding my life back. I never looked at it that way. And I think the simple truth is it is. You know what I'm saying? The simple truth is that it is. But let me continue. So in 2020, which was a crazy ass year for everyone, I had a big, for lack of a better word, it was a mental breakdown. I did some acid and went crazy. To keep it short, to sum it up, anyone who wants to hear my acid story, acid is complicated. I had a big spiritual awakening with it. I don't want to get all stereotypical. Oh, the guy that did fucking psychedelics and had a spiritual awakening. But seriously, like you see things different after that, and um, you know, but after you do the acid, you have to come back down to earth, be regular, become a regular citizen again. You got to become an NPC again and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and that's when I kind of realized, like, I think porn might be bad for me. I'm like, because I was in a process of really breaking myself down and trying to figure out myself and find myself. Where did I go wrong? Where did I miss some turns? You know what I'm saying? Or are there some peaks and alleys? Are there some situations in life that I chose the wrong thing? And the simple answer is fuck yes. The simple answer is fuck yes. And I had a girlfriend at the time who was awesome. To this day, I have the utmost respect for her. I wish things ended differently between us, but it is what it is. She was there for me at a very low time, and so what I did was I realized when I was with her, like I got back to being my shit, right? As soon as uh, the whole COVID thing went down, and it kind of hit me, because I was like, I think my sex drive with my lady isn't hitting because I am addicted to porn. I'll go bust a nut and then I'm gonna go see her. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not right. You know what I'm saying? That's not, it's not the end of the world, but it's like, it's not right. You get what I'm saying? Like, dude, save your nut for your fucking lady. You get what I'm saying? So what happened was, fast forward, we broke up. And then I started working at Amazon. And I became somewhere along the way and all of that. I realized I needed to quit porn, and honestly, I can't say I remember why. I don't know what made me wake up. I think I was just losing confidence in it, or what happened. I remember now. I was having thoughts. I was having like very like bad thoughts, like perverted thoughts, and I was like, dude, why am I having thoughts? And I just couldn't. These kind of like weird ass fucking thoughts, like literally just weird fucking shit. And I'm like, bro, why am I having these thoughts? And I look around, and the only thing I could place the blame on is fucking porn. And I'm fucking like, I'll watch the shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'll watch the shit, and then I'll like come out, feeling like shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, maybe I need to quit this. Maybe I need to quit this, and I quit. I quit for a good couple months. And I got back with that girl, and spiritually we started having some like really good fucking sex, bro. Like really good sex. Like the sex got better. I was working at Amazon, so my legs were getting strong as fuck. The testosterone was bumping. I was also meditating and shit. Like spiritually, that was the best sex I ever had. Like, to be honest, and like it is what it is. And what happened after that though is we ended up breaking up because I was still kind of in a bad mental place, and she was like, I can't deal with this anymore. And honestly, I could respect that. I kind of probably needed that, to be honest. And so what happened was after that was I kind of went in a downward spiral, not like as in like I started doing crack and meth and shit, but just like I was still working, but like I started drinking again, I started smoking cigarettes again and shit, I started smoking weed again. And it's just like, you know, before that I was just in a better place. I wouldn't say it was the worst downward spiral. I might even say, you know, maybe I should have just hung out with, you know, I had a friend that was coming around who was kind of a bad influence, but maybe I should have hung out with him as opposed to some other things I did, but that's off topic. So fast forward, what happened was I started meditating a lot. And I went on a 8 month fucking streak. I just went on a crazy 8 month streak. My dad died, and after that, you know, I saw my family back in California again, and I was like, you know, man, you know, maybe I should be a little bit better. I'm gonna go on it. I'm gonna see how long I can quit. I want to quit this shit. Like, this is enough. You know, enough is enough. And I was like, I'm gonna quit, and I quit for a good fucking 8 months, which is pretty fucking insane, honestly. Like, that's some monk shit in my opinion. That's fucking monk mode, bro. That is monk mode, straight up. And I relapsed. You know, I got a job. Man, I had it together, dude. I got a job. I had my own apartment for a minute, but I got fired because I gotta be honest, you know, and that's something we're gonna talk about. When you quit porn, bro, you gotta realize if you've been watching porn your whole life, you're deeply intertwined with it. Like, you're like, think about it, and you might not even understand how, bro. Like, the way you think, like, you probably could think of 1,000 jokes about jacking off right now, dude. You know what I'm saying? When you're with the homies and shit, and it just comes out, bro. That's how deep into this shit you are, in that I am too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't joke about shit that you don't know about, and you probably could name 1,000 porn stars. You know what I'm saying? You could fucking probably, you know, remember 1,000 videos and shit. You know, and 1,000 positions, 1,000 different things. Like, porn, porn is part of you now. Like, that's what you have to realize. Like, it's part. For me, it's part, like, I have to admit, it's part of my personality, almost, you know what I'm saying? And my bad, I got a little off topic. Where was I? So long story short, I get fucking fired from this fucking job and shit. And I relapse. You know, I'm in my apartment, and, you know, I buy some cigarettes, and, you know, I watched this video about this doctor saying, you know, it's good for you to fucking bust a nut, you know, if you've been holding it in for a long time. You know, maybe it was a bullshit excuse, but I was like, oh, fuck it. Well, you know, if the doctor says so and it's science, why not, right? So I fucking busted a nut. And guess what? It felt good, honestly. Like, if you hold it in for a long time and then you bust a nut, it's different as opposed to busting a nut every single day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I probably should have just stuck with my no fap. But at the same time, again, when you do no fap for such a long time, it takes away a part of your personality, and you know, I became like a robot, dude. Like, I was a machine, you know, in a good way and in a bad way, because people look at you, you know, mind you, most of society is filled with porn addicts. Almost, you know, I'm in my apartment right now, and I bet like this entire building probably watched a video or two in the last month, you know, and, you know, they're gonna look at you different. They're gonna feel differently about you, and, you know, that's an observation in a theory that I have. But also, you know, so I relapse. I go back to my apartment. I get a new job. And, you know, to keep it a buck, from this point on, I just started jacking off every single fucking day. Like, I was beating my shit. I couldn't stop. I was working like a 12-hour job. And, you know, when you get home, you're not even fucking thinking, you know. When you work 12 hours, it's like, fucking, I'm beating my shit. Like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I quit that job. And when I quit the job, I quit porn again. You know, I quit for a couple of months, and then I relapsed. And I got back into it nastily. It was like last year, you know. I was beating my shit. Dude, I got back into it similar like freshman year, like 3-4 times a day. And, dude, and if you're beating it 3-4 times a day, dude, like, you need to stop. I'm not gonna lie, there's not much of a way around it. But, you know, I slowed down again, and that brings me to this video. I've realized that, dude, porn addiction, dude, and as someone who's had a big no fap streak, like, dude, you are undoing like years of a habit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to, I'm going to cold turkey and just never do it again. Like, bro, if you want to do that, bro, I wish you the best of luck, but I don't think it's going to go that way. If you're on a 1 month streak, streak, there's probably a good chance you'll relapse in a month. And if you get a good 3-4 month streak, you'll probably relapse in 6 months. If you're on a 6 month streak, you might relapse 2 months from now. If you're on a 3 year streak, you might relapse a year from now, bro. And when you realize that, you have to realize, bro, like, this addiction is built differently. Because unlike a cigarette, like even cigarettes are easy to get addicted to because I could just walk to the store and buy a pack for $10. Dude, porn is free. I can turn this video off right now and fucking pull up Veronica fucking Leo. And we're supposed to sit here and act like this is gonna be easy? Now, so that's why I'm gonna bring you to the moment where I'm in, and what I'm doing right now is, instead of beating myself up every time I relapse, what I'm doing is I am saying, okay, you know what? Okay, I'm not gonna beat my meat tomorrow. And it's worked. It's worked. Like for like the last month, bro, I beat my meat every day. Not every day, but I'll beat my meat, and then the next day I won't, and then the next day I will, and then the next day I won't, and then the next day I will. And I'm slowly coming out of the fucking tunnel. You get what I'm saying? I'm slowly coming out of the tunnel. Dude, it's, cold turkey is for the strong. You know what I'm saying? And frankly, as someone who has kind of gone down that road, and I've had like multiple like 2 month streaks, 6 month streaks and stuff like that, I'm like, man, like, I guess I just don't have the motivation to get back into that mindset of cold turkey, because I've relapsed every time after cold turkey. Even if I had a great streak going, I relapsed. And right now it's like, I guess I've gotten so deep into the addiction again, I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take a different approach this time. And I just wanted to share it, I guess. But also, maybe there's some young people out there watching this. Man, if you can quit, bro, quit. Because I'm 24, man, and this, I'd be lying. Honestly, I firmly believe that porn makes people not think it straight. Soon, like, for example, I played basketball. Something I want you guys to know about me is I am a huge basketball player. I love fucking basketball. My shot is pure, okay? My shot is busting that shit, okay? So look, when I train and I watch porn, and then I say, okay, I'm gonna go shoot around, I'm gonna go train, I don't think it's straight with my training. When I don't watch porn, and say like I haven't watched porn in a few days, because that's how my streaks are going right now. Dude, I think way more clearly when it comes to exercise. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do these squats and then we're gonna go do this. When I'm watching porn, I'm like, oh, I gotta go do all this stuff. And it's like, I don't watch porn again. It's like, no, just do this. Just focus. Relax. Do this. This is what you need. When you don't watch porn, you think a lot more strength. You think a lot more straight, okay? And that's just the simple reality of it. You get what I'm saying? Even just making this video and hearing me speak out loud and knowing probably there might be some people watching this, I'm like, yeah, man, I need to quit. Like, fuck the bullshit. But at the same time, just keep in mind, like, porn is a part of you now. If you've been watching this shit for years, porn is a part of you. And if you're young and watching this and you don't want porn to be a part of you, quit. Slow down. Quit. Okay? Some of you might be, some people quit porn because they're like, man, I get no bitches. I'm not exactly Mr. Get Bitches, but I've had some fine shits in the past that, for me, I'm satisfied, I guess. I'm satisfied. Some of you might not have had that and are like, man, I need to go get some fine shits. Let me quit this shit and see if these women look at me differently. That's really not the worst reason to quit. That's really not. Because honestly, something you guys should know is that a lot of women watch porn too. If you think that women aren't watching this shit, bro, like you're not, trust me, they are. They are, trust me. And that leads me to say is, again, we as a society have become addicted. And it really starts with the internet and these phones. But at the end of the day, what you have to realize is that these phones are not going anywhere. And I'm coming from someone, this is coming from someone who also has like quit phone. I quit music, bro. I went on like pure dopamine redux or whatever the fucking word is. You know, I was good for a minute, man. I really was. But what I will say is that it's a little overrated. I'm gonna be honest. You know, I don't want to discourage people from bettering themselves, but I'm going to just be frankly honest and say, you know, it's overrated. I don't think there's anything wrong with being on Instagram and fucking doom scrolling some reels for an hour. If you're doing it all day, that's different. You know, if it's getting in the middle of your life, you know, that's different. You know, I definitely probably could, you know, for me right now, I need a job. I just got hired for a job, but they're bullshitting and shit. You know, it was a weird temporary job, and I was like, you know, let me just go get a new one anyway, because they're bullshit. Um, but, you know, to sidetrack off porn a little bit, I do just want to talk about things that are going on for me. So, you know, maybe we could see how porn is affecting me. You know, I'm being open. This is kind of also a self-reflect for me because I'm literally watching myself in the camera the same way you are watching me. So, you know, again, I'm a basketball player, and I'm not just any basketball player. I'm not trying to boost my ego or anything, but, you know, I've gotten into some private runs. You know what I'm saying? So, and I never played for a team. I taught myself everything I need to know about basketball. I you know, I'm literally, you know, I'm dunking now. I just recently learned how to dunk, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there's a community college at JUCO out here called the CSN Coyotes, and their coach, you know, he's not really looking at to bring me onto the team or anything like that, but he has let me come into the gym and practice and such, and he's like, he's kind of giving me a chance to prove myself, but and soon I might be moving to California, and so right now, you know, I guess my mission is right now I need to get a job, period, point blank. That's just what it is. I need to get a job, and but the thing about that is, it's like I'm about to move to California again, so it's like if I get a job out here, you know, it wouldn't be enough time to fucking get my shit together and things like that. So I might as well just wait till we move to California and then go fucking get a job. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is. But you know, back on porn addiction, and I really want to dive into how porn is intertwined with the soul, because it sounds like a weird fucking thing. Okay, everyone's addiction is different. I want to talk about the positives of porn, because how we can't dissect the negatives properly and all the way and fully if we don't address the positives. Dude, you could learn a lot about sex through porn. You know, if you pull up a porn video and you're just watching rough sex, like, oh yeah, speeding it as hard as you fucking can, like, yeah, it's probably not that good for you, man. Especially if you watch it every day and that's all you watch. You know, and I want to come out and say I've watched some fucking pornos that I'm not fucking proud of. I'm not gonna lie. I've watched some pornos that I'm not fucking proud of. But at the same time, you know, it's the past and there's not much I could do about it. I'm sure some of you have watched some shit that you're not proud of, but that's what brings us here, right? So if you're watching like rough ass shit like 24/7, it's a bad influence. But there's tantric porn, man. There's there's like slow meditation porn. You know, there's different genres, and I wouldn't say all these pornos are bad for you. You know, you could learn a lot about porn. I mean, just sex. You know, it could be a teacher for you. You know what I'm saying? It really can. But at the same time, I mean, it begs the question. You know, all of our sex experiences have been ruined. You know, we didn't learn naturally with a woman. We watched someone else do it first, and then we did it. Then we did it ourselves. Okay. But you know, also what I want to mention is that masturbation. You know, masturbation is not bad for you. Porn is bad for you. You get what I'm saying? Porn is bad for you. I wouldn't say, okay, rewind. Porn isn't completely bad for you, but masturbation isn't bad for you. If you want to masturbate and you don't watch porn, I would not call that a relapse. Now, if you're deep into addiction, of course the thought of masturbation is gonna go hand in hand with porn, so you might as well just not even fucking think of it. That's kind of where I'm at. Yes, just 2 days ago, I fucking masturbated without watching porn. I don't consider that a relapse, because again, like spiritually, There's nothing wrong with busting a nut. God gave you a fucking nut for a reason. You were given a nut for a fucking reason, okay? So if you want to, I recommend it, even because as a spiritual person, I do believe that there's nothing wrong with just masturbating slowly, doing it right, taking your time, and then, you know, busting your nut, and then going like a week on or however long without doing it again. Now, you shouldn't be emptying your seed every fucking day, of course, but, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, but what I recommend for porn addicts out there really is learn about porn and learn about this addiction. Don't think there's a lot of people like you out there, man. There's a lot of people out there like us. There's no rehab center for us. We're just raw dogging this shit. We're raw dogging addiction. We don't know what it's like to be in a sobering facility where, you know, we don't even know what doctors used to get people off meth or heroin, and we're in a place where we have to figure this out for ourselves. And it's weird because porn can take a lot of confidence out of a man, but at the same time, a lot of us are still just doing fine out here, going to school, working jobs, and you know, just trying to stay clean and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think I've covered most of what I've gotten into. I mean, most of what I've meant to get into. Again, I want to mention I'm not part of the NoFap community because I don't get down with shaming. You know, I mean, you know, if you've been beating your meat every single day for years, like 365 days, that's a lot of days, bro. A month has 30 days. 2 months is 60 days. 3 months is 90 days. 4 months is 120 days. You see where I'm going with this? Dude, it's you are habitually into this shit, bro. And you might even be like, man, I'm gonna quit. And the next day your mind is just like, man, fuck that shit, let's do it. Because you're habitually into it, and I'm with you on that. You know, it's a spiritual warfare, man. It's a spiritual warfare. And you know, if I have more to say, I think I've kind of hit the nail on what I want to say. I really just wanted to advise young people, if you can quit, because I wouldn't tell you this shit for no reason. If you seen what I seen, bro, you probably would be like, man, get the fuck out of this shit. Let me get the fuck out of this shit. Because, man, I've seen real demons off this shit, man. I've seen real demons off this shit. Man, I'm not proud of this, man. I'm not proud of this. I laugh it off because I don't have any better reaction to give. You know, I don't have any better reaction to give. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still functioning properly and shit like that. But, man, if you could quit. You know, and if you have to slowly edge yourself off of it, you know, and pull your soul out of the depths of, you know, seeing that Pornhub fucking logo every day and X videos, you know, quit, man. And another thing I want to mention is a lot of porn is fake. You know, let's kill the vibe, you know, like, you know, porn is a vibe, you know, like, oh yeah, let's go watch that shit, man, yeah, you know, like, my thing is this, bro, when you watch porn next time, pay attention to the camera, dude. They're shaking the camera, making the scene look more intense, okay? They're making the scene look more intense, okay? They're fucking like, it might, they just like, the dude might just be like, oh yeah, and then they'll fucking shake the camera and it's like, oh yeah. Hey, you heard it here. I'm sure there's a porn producer out there that wants to murder me for fucking exposing that shit. Dude, and another thing is, bro, these porn stars and models, they probably look down on this, bro. They look down on you. They look down on me, dude. They're like, cause dude, we have them on fucking pedestals, dude. They're getting millions of views and shit. They're getting treated, dude. They're getting treated like gods. Straight up, they're getting treated like gods, man. Bro, most of these bitches are just hoes, bro. Like, I don't know how else to say it, bro. Like, they're just hoes who sold their soul, bro. They're just hoes who sold their soul, man. because it's too easy for women. We as men, we have to, dude. We as men in this society, we have to be different, bro. We have to change. Like we have to be better for the next generation. We have to teach the next generation different, because dude, women are adapting. They see that we're just a bunch of dumbass, lustful beings, and they're like, okay, you know, we don't we need to show respect to women who respect themselves, because bro, if we don't, we'll have hoes forever, and it's just never going to end, bro. And it's probably not going to end. It just probably isn't, because women are smart, dude. Like, you know, for women, it's like, dude, like, imagine being a woman and then looking at Pornhub, and you're just like, man, look at all these women getting all this fucking attention. You know what I'm saying? And we as beings, you know, we try to put down, we try to act like we don't want or need attention. But I think everyone needs at least a little bit of attention in life. Okay, you can't sit there and just be like, oh, man, I don't want no attention. I want to sit there in my fucking closet by myself with nobody there. Like, okay, like, shit, you know what I'm saying? Good luck with that. But what we really need to do, man, is we need to, man, just we as men, we have to be better. We're gassing these hoes up, bro. We're gassing these hoes up, man. We're gassing them, bro. We're gassing them. You know, we're filling up their head, and we're bringing ourselves down too, dude. We're supposed to be kings, man. Like, we're not kings, but like we're supposed to be more solid in this, like, you know. My thing about porn is I feel strongly that I'm not gonna say I might even say it should be illegal. I might even say it should, because it's just, what positive impact is it having on society? I don't think it's that bad, bro. I think, you know, if someone makes a porno, like, they should be locked up. But if you look at what it's doing to so many people's brains, and it's not okay. And we're looking the other direction a little too hard here. You know, another thing is we have a problem with kids watching it, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says, dude. The kids shouldn't fucking be watching this shit, dude. They're so, their minds are so, what's the word? Their minds are so vulnerable. Their mind, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what cheating is. They don't know the emotional. When they read, fucking my stepsister, cheating on my boyfriend, like, what are they supposed to think when they read that shit? Even when I used to watch porn, like, they didn't have all that. It was just Sasha Grey fucks fucking Byron Long or some shit, dude. Like, dude, like, what, like, I mean, if we took it bad, how do you think this generation is taking it, dude? Like, I mean, they're, like, it's like, and so, man, shout out to all the addicts kind of stepping out low-key and kind of making these videos, because, you know, we're the only things out there that really are pushing back against this shit, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't think it should be illegal, because, again, if someone makes a porno, I don't think they should go to jail for that, you know, straight up. Like, I don't think that's right. But at the same time, you know, we need to find an answer for this, because these kids out here, man, they're just, I can only imagine, dude. I can only fucking imagine. You know, I was about, man, bro. You know, I would honestly, I'm actively trying to think of more to talk about. Like, I'm having a hard time continuing. I've kind of hit a lot of what I wanted to talk about in the nail, but I know I have more to talk about and shit. You know, something you know, you guys probably noticed is that, like, I joke around about this shit a lot. You know, I'll laugh it off. Like, I'll talk about the porn addiction and I'll also laugh it off, and that's just because, like, I guess it's kind of a cope. You know, like how it's not that serious. It's really not. But at the same time, it is. It's a bitch, dude. It's a fucking bitch. It's a fucking bitch, man. So, but, you know, they're trying to make it illegal in Texas and shit. I think, again, I just really think we need to keep kids away from it, dude. There's no reason a fucking 9-year-old should be able to fucking access like that website like that, bro. Like I just don't think, I just don't think that, I just don't think that makes sense. But uh, I'm gonna close this out, and this is it. Anyone who stuck around, or even if you didn't stick around, thanks for watching. And you know, if you have any questions, you know, or if you've never gotten like a 8-month streak and you just want advice on how you get that going, or you know, again, if you just have questions about my addiction, you have any questions, period, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Porn has left me with many regrets, man. It's left me with many regrets, and I do some, and every day I, something I'd like any young person going through this, or you know, questioning their porn addiction, is that every day I wonder what my life would be like if I didn't get addicted. That's what I leave you with. I wonder every day what my life would be like if I didn't get addicted, because again, it's a bitch, man.